Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of In the Spotlight of Northfield Village. I'm here today with Mary Randall from Spennatos. Hi, Mary. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
You know, how long has Spennatos been open for now?
We opened in the fall of 2005.
Fall 2005.
So it's 12 years.
12 years. And you know what? Tell us about, how you came to Ohio.
Well, that's a good story. I'm from Maryland, and I worked at Laurel Raceway.
Okay.
My first job, I was 16 years old, and by the second year, I was 17 and one of the youngest assistant race secretaries in the country.
Wow.
So that's how I started, and I worked there until my boss at the time, I balanced between school, and then my mother passed away in 1975, and I felt that, like, I put my school on hold, the college on hold, and I went to Columbus with the team that I was working with at that time. And then he came to Northfield Park in the fall of 1975. So that's when I came up here to work.
Okay.
And I actually didn't like it. And I was here for 3 days and gave my boss, John Phillips, a note on his desk saying that I was leaving. And I quit and drove back to Maryland. Then they called me and made me come back. And I've been here ever since. So,
So what do you miss about Northfield Park?
well, that's where I horse racing has always been in my blood. My grandfather pioneered horse racing. He built a lot of the tracks. He was one of the main track people. So we have a lot of history with horses in general. Harness horses, steeplechasers, thoroughbreds, and we had an English riding school growing up. So I had a lot of, that was in my blood. And it was something I loved to do. I loved the people. We only stayed 1 year at Scioto Downs in Columbus because we got the job at Northfield. And then, I went from there. So they didn't have my job in the racing office that I'd always done.
Yeah.
So they put me in with group sales, and she was a tyrant. But she was one of the best people that I'd ever met, and she taught me everything about group sales. So that's when I went in. Then I told the management I didn't want to stay in the racing department anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to go into the catering end. So that's how I got into that.
What's
Connie
one of-
Del Nino was her name.
Oh,
and
okay.
She was crack the whip, but she taught me a lot, and I got where I am today because of that.
What's one of your fondest memories of the track?
I loved I like doing parties, so all my parties were, I enjoyed doing all the big events, the decorating, just everything with the big events I enjoyed, so.
And you still like doing that at Spennatos?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit more about Spennatos. Tell me why you even got involved with the restaurant.
Well, G decided I thought he was going to build a pizza place, but apparently he had different ideas, so Spennatos just came and it kept adding on, and then we added the party room and we added the patio, and I started doing the special events over there. So
Okay.
I enjoy doing that. It's a family-owned business. My stepson works there. My stepdaughter works there. My little grandchild thinks she's working there. She's only a year and a half, but she does go out and greet the people. But
Okay.
But we do a lot of things over there. We do a lot of wine tastings. I've done bourbon tastings, beer tastings. I've actually done a Oscar party. I think you were.
I was there, and so was my mother.
Your mother was there, and we did the plane pull, for Special Olympics. So we try to do a lot of that kind of activities.
So, how many events do you have planned for the patio this year? I know it just opened.
Well, we have a rehearsal dinner tonight. Hopefully it won't rain. We had a Wild Wine Wednesday last night, and we had Frankie Starr. Frankie Starr's back now. It was phenomenal. The music was phenomenal. The wine was phenomenal. The food was phenomenal. Nothing could have given us a better day for the debut of Frankie Starr and the actual official opening of our patio.
So, tell me a little bit more. How much does the patio hold, patron-wise, and your banquet room?
The banquet room holds 90 max, and then the patio you can get like 75 on.
Okay.
And because the tables are bigger with the umbrellas and stuff, you can kind of takes away from it a little bit. So,
Okay. Now, if someone wanted to rent that space, who did they contact? You, obviously.
Yeah, they just call the restaurant, and we'll take care of it from there. The number's 330-468-8688, and they can ask for Mary, Anthony. Truly, anyone can help them. I will probably be the one doing the final, menu planning and stuff like that.
Okay. So, obviously, I love Spennatos. I patronize it all the time. I love all of our restaurants on Route 8. But is there anything new on the menu? Anything new coming up on the menu?
They just are putting out a new menu now. They do have a lot of new things. I know one of the things they brought in the other night was the Blue Marlin, which I actually, being a Maryland girl and always seafood person, I was blown away by the Blue Marlin. We also had oysters the other night, fresh, the Blue Point oysters, which are from my neck of the woods. And my stepson, Anthony, who cooks and bartends over there, he decided to make some crab cakes. And we served that at one of our private events, a private wine tasting for a fundraiser that we did with Bill Palmer. So that was and they were delicious. The crab cakes were delicious, except not really Maryland crab cakes.
So, what do you enjoy most about Spennatos?
I like doing the events and going around and talking to all the people. And I might only make it to 2 tables before, I'm always stopping, and a lot of my friends from the tracks come in, and then I'll sit down and talk with them for a while. But I like going around and having people try some of the wines that no one, if you came in, you wouldn't know what a Gorchetto is, and I met the winemaker from Italy. It was one of my favorite wines, and I have it now. They shipped 8 cases in from New York, and apparently I'm the only one in the United States that has this. I don't know whether, but they said it was only in New York, and I have all the cases here now. So, and I sold 2 cases last night of just people trying something different, not knowing what the Gorchetto grape is, and and what the wine tastes like. So I enjoy that.
And how often do you have these wine tastings?
My Wild Wine Wednesdays will come up whenever Frankie Star is available. I like having the entertainment.
Okay.
So I'm doing one again next Wednesday from 6 to 9, and I'll have different wines for people to taste. And then all of my wine people that sell me the wine, the distributors, all know that when they have someone come in from another country or California or Oregon, when they're coming in, I'll do a dinner. And my dinners have been very successful. I've sold a lot of wine, so I'm number 1 on a lot of their lists.
Okay.
So I've already had an Argentinian one. I've already had 2 Italian ones. And I had one from Spain, one from California. And then I have 2 more Italian ones that'll be, when they're coming into town, we'll pick a date.
So,
and they're usually only here for a week, and then they're gone. So they're booked for 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Now, Spennatos, where did that name come from?
Okay, that was Anthony's idea because it sounded better than Mary's, Egidio's, or Anthony's.
Okay.
So it was his mother's name. Her name was Maria Spennato, and then in Italy it's Indapala, which is her her last name because she was married. But Spennato's just kind of everybody liked it, and that's where we came up with that.
So how is it working with G on a daily basis?
It's great because sometimes you just don't understand what he says, so you still just do what you want.
Now, who is G? I think we're all wondering, what...
It's Egidio DiPaola. He came from Italy in 1978, and then he came to Ohio in, I think, the late 70s or the early 80s, and he was actually Ottos Pizza at Randall Park Mall.
I love Sparrows Pizza.
Yeah, people come in all the time that remember him from these places where you'd spin the pizza up in the air. And so he had 3 Ottos Pizzas. Then he went to Thistledown and had the Horseman's Kitchen there. Then he came to Northfield Park where I met him, and he had the Horseman's Kitchen there. And then he decided he wanted not to work for anybody, but to work for himself. And that's when this has been his dream. And he's taught by his family to cook. He's not, he never went to culinary school or anything like that. These are all family recipes, and there's no recipes in the back of the house. They're all in his head. So when he goes
You don't have anything on the menu.
No, I cooked it. Wait, I cooked a turkey in 1985, and it was delicious. That's the last time I ever cooked.
Well, Mary, it's been a pleasure interviewing you today. You know, it's Spennatos has really been a place for people to gather and enjoy. If people don't know where you're located at 10446 Northfield Road. And what hours are you open till?
We're 7 days a week, and we're open till about 10 o'clock on the weeknights, unless something's going on. Like last night, we never left until 11, and then about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock on the weekends. And
I don't think people know this, but you have parking around your building, but there's overflow too in our lot here at the town hall.
Can walk across
and that's for anyone on Northfield Road. I mean, as long as we're closed, we don't have a problem with people parking over here. So,
that's been a godsend because we do have a small parking lot.
But again, Mary, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for coming on the show.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.